Good afternoon and welcome to BBC London. I'm Thomas Magill. First this lunchtime, a punch in the guts for the local community. That's the reaction from some leaders around Euston Station following the announcement that HS2 won't connect with the central London terminal until at least 2040. The high-speed line had been expected to open there between 2031 and 2036, but that's now been pushed back to save costs. People in the area aren't happy, as our transport correspondent has been finding out.
This is what HS2 looks like in Euston. Hundreds of homes and businesses have been destroyed, and the plan is now to delay the project by anything from 4 to 10 years. For the businesses on Drummond Street, it means more uncertainty and disruption.
10 years, I don't think that we're going to survive. We're not going to survive. How are we going to survive when there is no help from anywhere else?
Travelling to Drummond Street and around this area is just nightmare. So it's going to be a nightmare for the businesses.
I personally think the government should finish this sooner rather than later, so the Euston comes back to normality.
Here we go again, 8 o'clock in the morning.
This is the type of thing some residents have had to put up with. Construction has also meant congestion on local roads. Initially, now the line will run to a new Old Oak Common station in West London. Passengers will then have to change onto the Elizabeth line to get into the centre of town. It's not clear yet what the timescale will be for the opening of HS2 here at Euston. It could be 2040, that's 17 years away. And there are also problems with having Old Oak Common in northwest London as the terminus. TfL say that could have very serious implications for the Elizabeth line, i.e. it wouldn't be able to cope. A more affordable design for Euston Station will now be worked on, but the whole area is meant to be seeing huge regeneration.
Well, I think it's an absolute disaster for the community here. It's like a punch in the gut. People woke up this morning reading the news and simply don't know what it means from here. There's no going back for people in Euston. HS2 is here. Homes have been demolished, schools have been emptied, green space has been taken away. This is a giant building site in the centre of London, dividing communities. We really need a plan urgently about moving forward, and a delay of a year, 5 years, 10 years is just not acceptable.
The government says it's delaying the station to save money, but it is committed to bringing the line into central London. But here in Euston, there's just frustration and disbelief. Tom Edwards, BBC London.
And the construction of the Lower Thames crossing in Essex will also face a delay of 2 years. Work to link Essex and Kent was due to start in 2024. The Transport Secretary says the delay would help meet inflationary pressures. The Metropolitan Police say they're not looking for anyone else in connection with the discovery of a woman and 2 boys found dead at a house in southeast London. Emergency services were called to Mayfield Road in Belvedere yesterday morning after concerns were raised for their welfare. The bodies of a 47-year-old woman and 2 boys aged 9 and 7 were discovered inside. Now, the NHS has warned of significant disruption to London's hospitals next week as junior doctors are set to walk out for 3 days. Thousands of operations and appointments will be cancelled. The dispute is over pay and conditions and will affect most hospitals. Our health correspondent, Carl Mercer, has more.
This is what a normal day looks like in the emergency department at Chelsea and Westminster Hospital. But it won't look like this for 3 days next week.
I'm going to head now. Yeah. I've just shown that.
Because junior doctors won't be here from Monday, this department, like pretty much every other in the capital, will be running with around half the staff. Much planning has been done. Staff from across the hospital will be drafted in to help here, but it will still be a huge challenge.
How confident I am? In fact, I'm very worried and concerned because we have got 50% of what we would normally have to manage a department of this size, and that itself is a huge risk. So if you see if I'm confident, probably not, but what I'm confident is that we are putting enough effort to plan for it, and that's the key part over here. The planning is the absolute essential bit.
London's NHS has of course already seen a series of strikes by nurses. They're now in negotiations with the government, but the junior doctors' dispute could hit harder.
I'm expecting it to be very busy. The department is busy at the best of times, and as Dr. Patel has mentioned, we're probably going to have 50% of the staffing we would normally have. So despite efforts to provide excellent, as best care as possible for severely ill and critically ill patients, sadly there will be a longer wait for the patients who aren't perhaps as acutely unwell.
NHS bosses are urging patients to keep using emergency departments if they are really unwell, but asking them to use GPs, pharmacies and NHS 111 if they're not.
There will be significant disruption, and we need to do everything we can, both as as people in leadership positions, but other professionals, other doctors that aren't junior doctors, and nurses and physios and radiographers, etc. We all need to pull together to keep patients as safe as possible. I'm pretty confident that we'll do that. It's impossible to give a guarantee, but I'm pretty confident we can do that.
It will be a difficult few days ahead. Thousands of planned operations have already been cancelled, thousands of appointments too, as the focus has moved to the capital's emergency departments. Carl Mercer, BBC London.
Now, a Watford football player has been praised for raising awareness of stammering after a video of his post-match interview went viral. Ken Seamus spoke to journalists after scoring 2 goals in a 3-2 win over West Brom.
I'm happy with the win today as well. It wasn't a must win here at home.
Well, the 29-year-old is now being celebrated and said he's amazed by the response.
For the video to become so big, it was amazing. Because there was so much love, so much like real reactions, and I heard so many big names, so it's like role model, inspirational, but I'm happy about it. Thankful about every comment, thankful about everything, and if I can help, I'm here to help.
Good for him. OK, let's get a check on the weather with Kate.
Good afternoon. It's been a real mixed bag of weather so far today. It was a reasonably mild start, wet and windy though, grey skies in central London. And as that rain started to clear, the colder air behind it, largely over higher ground, but some wet snow, some sleet mixed in there. Then that cleared eastwards and we've had a few spells of sunshine. Now you can see the area of rain this morning, the colder air digging in behind it. It did turn to snow for some for a while, but that's cleared away now. Through the afternoon, it is much drier. Should see further bright and sunny spells, but a few showers too feeding in on the northerly wind. It's not quite as strong as it was earlier. Now temperatures getting colder through the afternoon, and then overnight under clear skies it drops down to -3. So widespread frost tomorrow morning, but also the chance of some icy stretches too following the rain, sleet and snow that's fallen today. Now for tomorrow you might just get a bright start, but that cloud quite quick to increase as we head through Saturday morning. Some outbreaks of rain as we head towards Saturday evening. Fairly light though. Temperatures tomorrow still chilly, 6 or 7 Celsius. Then we've got more rain overnight and an unsettled day for Sunday. We can see the isobars squeezing together, very windy and wet towards the end of Sunday, but it's pulling in some milder air. So we lose that colder air, milder air moving in, and temperatures on Sunday back up in double figures. We could see 12 or even 13 Celsius. Now as we head further through next week, Monday still looking mild, still unsettled, but Tuesday the colder air returns.
OK, much more on the BBC News app, including details on how the Met and City Hall intend to support victims of crime in the future. But that's it from me this afternoon. Alice will be here at 6:30. So until then, have a lovely afternoon. Bye-bye.